Hello, welcome to my channel. You know, I come out here to get a drill bit. The one I wanted was dull, so I drug this Drill Doctor 750 out and sharpened it. While I had it out, I thought I'd make a video. So this is the Drill Doctor 750. Supposedly it will sharpen a drill from size 3/32, which is 0.93, to 750 thousandths, 3/4 of an inch. That's pretty big. I know when I just got it, one of the things I didn't like about it was the very fine grit wheel they had on it. It took forever. Well, it took forever to sharpen a drill bit. That's for drills I'm talking about that are of any real size. This one's a 15/32. The drills I normally use are stub length. That's not a real good thing to show people with because it'll just disappear in the holding chuck. Also, have a 135-degree angle on the top, on the cutting edge. And the center, it's has a split point on it. All of that is used so that it cuts harder materials a lot more precise. But I thought to show someone, I dug out my jobber length, my normal drill bit set that you can buy, that most everybody has, that you could buy at like Home Depot, hardware stores, Lowe's, most anywhere that sells drills. And the standard drill, the jobber length, has 118 degree. And they don't have a split point. This drill sharpener will sharpen either one. It goes anywhere from 118 to 135, a little bit more and less than that by adjusting this. And it's a good thing to check your drill bit before you sharpen it. But I set it at 118, and it's right there, 118 degrees. So I thought what I would do is just read off what they're telling you to do here and run through it real quick. The first page of the quick instruction, getting to know your drill doctor, it just kind of explains all the different knobs and stuff, which isn't a bad thing when they're talking about it on the paper. In the instructions, you'll know what they're talking about. But number one, the first thing they tell you to do is choose your angle. What angle are you sharpening? Like I said, I measured this at 118 degrees. And there is no split point, but I think we're going to put one on. So what I'm going to do here is set this at 118. You have to loosen this knob and move it to 118. Right here is where they tell you what angle it is. This is a knob you loosen and you adjust it. It's 135 and that's 118. And you tighten the knob. Okay, so we picked the drill we're going to sharpen. Check that what the angle was, 118. We set the angle. The next thing is, let's see, aligning the drill bit. This is like a drill chuck that holds the drill in it. There's a bunch of little grooves or fins on here on both sides that align with a few different things over here. And there's a way to set the angle here, how that's going to set in there, and how deep it's going to set. Let's do that. Okay. First thing it tells you is insert the drill bit into the chuck and close the jaws just to the point where the bit slides. Do not over tighten. The bit needs to be able to move in and out until we get to step 4. Okay. So, let's take this thing apart and see what it looks like inside. Looks like there's just some sheet metal jaws here with angles on them. It appears like there's angles in here. There's some grooves to keep these in line. And I guess as it goes down, these things bend in. Okay, that's enough fooling around. The next thing we need to do is adjust this so this, I imagine, stays where it needs to be, but yet you can still spin it. Okay, you can feel it stop. Back it off a little. It stays where it needs to be and it can still spin. Okay. What's next? Insert it into the alignment port. This is the alignment port. Press the alignment button down. This is the alignment button. What it's doing is opening up some fingers that are going to grab the webs or the flutes of the drill. You open that so you could push this all the way back against. There's a little stop back here, and you could adjust that stop with this knob. I had adjusted this stop to halfway, not all the way out and not all the way in. That should take a average amount off of the 2 flutes. I know I said it one time, it took off like 15 or 20,000 of the material off here. That takes forever with these little things. But anyway, align the guide raised fins on the chuck into the 118 degree notch on the alignment port with the clamp arms open. Okay, let's see. Front and center, right here, 118 degrees. These appear to be what they're talking about. They're like little fins sticking out. I'm going to push that into here. You're supposed to push this down to open those fingers. There we go. You let go of the button, and those are like spring-loaded. It adjusts the flutes, and then you tighten it up. Press this back down and take it out. Okay, make sure everything's locked. Okay, what I did is put these fins into the slot that said 118 with this button open. It opened the fingers, slid it into this point, hit the stop, let the button go, and I kind of helped it spin until those fingers grabbed the flutes and positioned this in the right position. Has to be in the right position because there's a cam on here that raises and lowers the drill that mimics you going on the pedestal grinder and clearing the heel off of the drill bit. Let's do that next. Let's go over here to this station and actually do some sharpening. What you're supposed to do is there's a white dot on each side simulating the flutes. There's a pin, a locating pin here. That's what this cam, there's a cam like I said on here, rides against. There's also a cam that goes up and down, that will tilt this whole thing here. I don't know if you can see that moving. It'll tip it up so that it will clear the heel, which ain't a bad idea. That's the hardest thing. People sharpen it at the wrong angle. They put a negative rake on that edge so it's never touching the material. And the heel is too high. It's pushing the drill away from the material. But that's supposed to line it all up. Let's start this thing up. We'll take the line, one of the dots, put it right in line with this, and start sharpening. You need to remember to keep this holder, the cam part, up against that pin. A lot of times, instead of going around and around, I just go up and back and just deal with one flute at a time. And I keep doing that until I don't hear it grinding anymore. Okay, I'm going to go to the other flute. I don't know if you noticed it, it was riding up and back, in and out, up and down. There's one other feature on here that I like, and it's thinning the web. It's putting a cutting edge on that web. If you think about it, if you take away the flute and just take the web, that's like a solid piece of steel running straight down. When you're pushing against something, the first thing that touches the material is that web, and there's no cutting flute on there. It's just brute force, you're pushing that web against your material till that cutting edge can grab it. What the web thinning does is it puts a small cutting edge on each side right up to the point. So it's center cutting. But we're going to put it in there. We're going to do that. Let's do that. I have to get this out of here. Move this stuff so the camera can see it. All right, they put a little cover on here. It's like an exhaust. But with this port here, there's a couple of slots in here inside this port. And what that's for, again, are these webs, fingers, whatever you want to call them. And the white dot, again, is important. One on each side. There's a little notch here on top. You line those up, but when you do that and you push it in, these little fingers go into those slots. And you just keep pushing, and the side of the wheel clears the heel away and puts a cutting edge on that web. Let's do that. And you just keep pushing until you can't hear anything anymore. Turn it 90 or 180 degrees. That sounds about right. Pull it out. Turn it 180 degrees. Line up that dot. Pretty hard to see. You know, at one time, everybody in the shop needed to know how to grind your drill bits and your lathe bits. Nowadays, there's inserts for your lathes. There's insert drills, but for drill bits that you use in a machine shop. I worked in aerospace the last 15, 20 years. You didn't sharpen your own drill bits. You had a lot of money invested in a part. You didn't want to hope that some guy knew what he was doing, how to sharpen something. You threw it in a bin. It was sent out for professional sharpening or thrown away. And you grabbed a new one, a fresh one, out of the bin. But anyway, I just wanted to run through that and show people that this actually does work. For $159, if you don't know how to sharpen a drill bit, I think it's worth it. Up to a 3/4 inch drill, that's amazing. I haven't tried anything bigger than a 1/2 inch. And this is the first time I did 118 degrees. I usually do the 135. And it splits the point really nice on that. But anyway, I think everybody got the idea of what I was trying to show you. So I think this video is coming to an end. So until next time, enjoy.